Welcome to part 2 of making a dance floor into a garden. I'm going to start putting these grates together. Just trying to come up with combinations that would work the best, and I think I've got it. So let's get going. Okay, so I had these held together previously with these hose clamps, and I had them in the corners. I forget what I had in the centerpieces. It wasn't laid out like this, but this isn't big enough to go around those two pieces, so I'm gonna have to just check the other clamps and see how they are, see if they're bigger ones or not. So I don't know why I didn't think that fit. I think it was because I was going around the metal here also. So this metal here and on this side, I flipped this panel over so that this bottom part that doesn't have a top railing is going to be down. I had it flipped around before, so it was able to fit. I tried doubling them up, but then it was way too big, and I thought, well, I know it wasn't that big. So now it's nice and secure. So I'll put another one on that end, and then see about standing this up with a corner piece and see if I can get another clamp onto that and just keep building from there. Let's see, I gotta find something to prop this up. So I ended up flipping this around, putting the big one on this end, the smaller one on this side, and that's a little bit better. Let's get this side down. Done. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I swapped the pieces here, and I got these from the junkyard. Usually go for the dog, for a cage for the dog, and it had these swivel hinges. So I'm going to put that on the bar over there and hopefully be able to have a swinging door. But I don't have enough pieces to completely make a rectangle, so I may have to just have the door be connected to the corner for stability, and then swing open, and then the spots that I don't have panels for, I'm going to put the the roll fencing up. I'll probably have to put some 2x4s up or something. So maybe I'll have a 2x4 there and have the gate go to that, and then I can just latch it with a little wire or something. Alright, that's that for this. This is a little bit swingy here, but I can put like a clamp or something on the fence part here and just clamp that down to onto the wood. And I'll probably have to do that over here if I'm going to have the door hinges here. Okay, so I think I'll put the piece on this end over here, and then this whole thing will be able to stand, and then I can mess with this gate. Pin this part here, it's not just on one side, so you'd have to take this one completely apart. It's encased in there, they're two C-shaped, so I don't think I need to take it completely apart, but I had done it before and it was a pain. So best to have one up as high as possible. Raining again, blue skies. Let's see how this works here in Pennsylvania. We've got a rainbow. We've got a rainbow here. We've got blue skies way yonder over here. We've got gray clouds and it looks like a storm all over here, and then we go around here and then we have the sun and blue skies with some white clouds up here, and then over here looks like a nice day over to here. Let's get back to the rainbow. Look at that. Cool. Bend there. All right, so I'm just going to move this down. There's a cutout here, so there's no sense in trying to bend that up there because it might break the weld. That's high enough. And then the next one goes down here. That's probably why I had a different one as the door. So I don't remember which panels were which, but I'll put this one right here then. Same thing on the gate here. Now there is a gap over here that's the same height as this, I believe, and then there's a gap down here, so I just have to deal with one spot here. Look at that. Look at the rainbow's even getting brighter. Look at that. It's actually a double rainbow. Uh-oh. You know what that calls for? Double rainbow all the way across the sky. Double rainbow. Look at the double rainbow all the way across the sky. All right. I'm probably going to have to cut this. I don't think, well, I guess I could try bending it, but I don't know if it'll bend. It doesn't need much, so if I go in the center of this piece, I might be able to get enough movement out of it. I have to go get a bar though. I'll rest it on this piece that was cut, and then that way it won't be able to slide down, because this isn't completely clamping this, it's tight. But you can still shake it. I probably could bend this a little bit because they're just not touching. But it was on there like this for 14 years, I think we had the dog. I don't know when I got the cage, but all right, let's see now. I'll get this one up. I guess it would help to have the camera pointing at what I'm working on. So I just put this one in. This kind of come completely apart, and then I was able to put it around here. I'm going to have it raised up a little bit higher than, so it's not sitting on the board, and then that way I'll be able to swing open more freely. It used to be, this used to move around a little bit, and I had a stake in the ground to hold it, I'm remembering now. And we used to just pick this whole thing up and just drag it out in the grass. But I might make it easier than that now. So I'm taking this screw completely out. It just slid back down again. Oh well, I'll mess with that once I'm getting this together. But here's the door. So I need a stabilizer in the corner there. I'm gonna have to put a 2x4 or something. Run this up against the edge. Put a 2x4 up and maybe just fasten it onto here. So then this will be stable on this corner. And then over here, I put the 2x4 coming up here, and this will latch onto that. I cut a 2x4 here, so I'm going to put this one here, and I think I'll put an angular piece. I'll screw that to the bottom, screw into the bottom there, and then maybe put an angular piece here for support, and then that'll shore up this corner for the door. These screws are used screws. I took them out of the deck and I didn't put them all back in. It didn't seem like it was necessary to put all to screw the boards down on every single cross member. So I'm going to use them here. That's why they're skipping on the bit. Okay, so that was quite annoying. I couldn't figure out a good angle to cut on both ends of that board because it has to make it through the fencing and be able to go into the 2x4. So I ended up cutting an angle that's actually not big enough, and I was hitting the bar, so I just got a piece of the cutoffs and jammed it in there as a wedge, essentially filling in the gap, and I'm just screwing screws through it and hoping that holds together. And then I can move this whole fence, put a screw in down through here to level this. Not quite as elegant as I would have wanted it to be, but if it holds together, that's good enough. And that broke a piece of my wedge out, but what are the other pieces that are in there are tight, so it's not going to move at all. So I literally have two 4-inch screws, which are more than long enough, but I put the clamp on there just to close the gap a little bit. And make sure I don't hit the other metal grid here. Wow, it actually came through the other side. Have to file that off. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I'm not going to put anything else in there. Let's see if I can get this door to stay up. I might have to get another clamp, the hose clamps that I was using for putting these together. But this door is not tight in the hinges, so it just slides down. So I want to raise that up so it doesn't hit. All right, so I cut another piece. Hey, one screw used. Oh. right there. And again, this board's all twisted. It's pretty straight this way, but it's twisted this way. The other board I had was twisted this way, so I couldn't get a nice gap here. This is hanging down just a little bit, so I want enough space so that it'll close. I'm gonna put a back stop on here, and then I'll put something here to latch, but I don't want to have this push in and break the hinges. Okay. So I'm going to put another board so this doesn't flex a lot. I'm going to use that piece that I had cut with the 45s on each end, and I think that might be enough support there. Oh yeah, that's good. Just have to find a small piece of wood to go across here to be the backstop for this. And then I need to put some, after that, well, let's get that done first. Mosquitoes are out. See if I could drill this without it splitting. I cut some square pieces of 2x4. They don't need to be exact. You'll put that in each corner to prevent the sides from sliding in when I tighten the fence. I think I might be able to get by with just one screw, because it's not gonna, as long as it's in, I just want to prevent this wall from sliding this way. So I have it stretched, wire fencing stretched across. I overlapped pretty good over here. Give me some slack, enough room, and I'm just going to wire it to this. Alright, so I can lay this down and maybe straighten it a little bit so it's not so crazy. Alright, I got that one in down there. It was kind of, I had to get the pliers in there to hold it and all that. And then I Did a couple up to the top here, and I straightened it out. I pulled it taut over here and tried to straighten it out a little more, but this is pretty stiff. Put some horseshoe nails in at the bottom here. That'll hold it a little more firm, and that should be it. I'll have some galvanized wire, so where this is pulled tight, I'll put some galvanized wire in a couple of spots here. Then I'll move this again down and maybe do it in the middle and then down at the bottom, and I'll put the galvanized wire, wrap it around, tighten it with the pliers, and that'll be this side. And then I'll just do the same thing on this side, but I won't have the horseshoe nails. I won't put a board up here, so I'll just affix it with wire in about this far, and then pull that tight again, just like over here on this side, and hook it into here. All right, that's it. Called on account of darkness. Okay, hopefully final day of making the garden area. So I got this nailed over here yesterday. I'm just going to trim some of the overhang off so no one gets cut, and I'm going to pull this tight across here. This is tight right now, so I'll start wiring. I have some galvanized wire. I'll wire it in a couple of spots, and then I'll just go down all the way down, and then once I've got that pretty tight, I'll put some of the horseshoe nails in, maybe 3 or 4, just to straighten the bottom out. Okay, that's complete. I did 2 here, 1 in the middle, and 2 on the bottom. I might just bend these around, these edges here, these ends, and then I'm going to trim these here. Trim it up to here. Get going on this side. I'll close this side in and just do the same thing, but on both sides. All right. I hooked it here temporarily with the electric wire. I'm going to trim this here, going in four squares in. Now I have to kind of straighten it out, that's probably the hardest part of this. Wow, that worked out way better than last time. I was laying it down and trying to do sections of it and just kind of bending it. All right, time to wire it. Okay, I got to the bottom of the other side. I got it all tightened up. I just need to put the wiring in. bugs are biting again. I'm not seeing them on me, but all right. Then one more in here, and then I'll just put the horseshoe nails down along the bottom here. And that's it for today. Okay, that's all complete. This is pretty stiff. These swing a little bit, but I don't think it's an issue. They're not gonna move out. And then I put the electric wire I was using, I wrapped that around the pole here. Okay, got that all attached. Everything looks good. It's a little wavy, but it's sturdy. It's not gonna fall over or anything like that. And then I got that electric wire that I was using to pull the fencing tight. I put that onto this post here. I just wrapped it around, put 2 horseshoe nails, and then I'm just gonna go like this, like that. And that's plenty tight. Just need it so it's not swinging open. And that's that. Now, time to actually get the garden going. Not sure if we'll get this going this year or not. I'm ecstatic that I got this much done. So I might get the earth boxes. We're using earth boxes. They're a closed growing container. I might just put them all in here to get them off the deck and just to place them to see what kind of space they take up. So that'll be in part 3.